Welcome, everybody, to Chaps Mini Cultures, episode 174, I believe. I keep losing track on the numbers. Today, we're going to talk about the fourth of four behavioral prototypes in the personality profiling tool that we're showcasing this week. And the more you know, the higher your knowledge, the more you will comprehend about this system. Stay tuned. Welcome to Chaps Mini Cultures on this, well, here where I am, it's a rainy Thursday. My name's Christian, and this fellow over there is, well, you can read it. It says Parry, Brett. Well, in case you didn't know, because we're here today to increase your knowledge about certain things. We'll start with our name. And we would like to know something from you as well. We'd like to know, where are you? Where are you watching this? And who are you? And how come we don't know you yet? Or maybe we do? Let us know.
And that never-ending question, what do you know? You know, it's actually a, I don't know whether it is a culturally ubiquitous thing, but in Australia we say, yeah, what do you know? What do you know, mate? You know?
Well, and in the upper Midwest, they say, don't you know?
Don't you know? Oh, okay, there you go. So it does have some application around the world. Now, in Australia, often the answer is, yeah, nothing.
Nah.
So, yeah, not much, not much. You know,
it ain't bad, right?
But that's not bad, and that's not bad at all. So it is true. Today we're talking about knowledge, the gathering of such, and the understanding of whatever you're learning about in your world. But we're talking about particular people that have a tendency or more of a tendency over and above the other aspects and traits that we've discussed this week to tend towards just wanting to know, wanting to understand what's behind an idea, what's behind a concept, what really is making what is the knowledge behind anything that they're approaching. And that could be in work, play, anything like that, right? Yep.
Right. Remember, we talked about the blueprint personality prototype on Monday. Blueprints, they like the box and the parameters it provides in terms of security, safety, predictability, risk mitigation, and maybe staying within one's budget. So blueprints really like the box. On Tuesday, we talked about the action types. They don't like the box at all. They can't get rid of the box fast enough because they want flexibility, spontaneity, freedom. They care about their image. They want to take action. Boxes confine them. I am in a box on the screen. That would not work for an action. Let me get out of here. I need to do stuff. Nobody got time for that box stuff right there. So they want to get out of the box. And yesterday we talked about the nurturing types, who some might say care a lot for the box. They want to reuse it, make sure that the box gets multiple purpose to its lifetime. Maybe they even recycle the box, right? So the nurturers, they care, they seek harmony, they want to contribute to a greater common good. They don't put themselves first. They always have the interest of others in mind in their decision making. And today we're talking about the knowledge types, who, well, if you ask the knowledge personality type, they will tell you they designed, engineered, and invented the box. They will tell you, well, without our ingenuity, our knowledge, all the other personality types, they wouldn't even have a box. We're the ones that make the box, right? Obviously,
and then can I just jumping in? Is it actually a box, or is it just our perception that it's a box?
Oh, there we go. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is some other sort of self-imposed limitation. Right?
Is there only one box, or is there an alternate box? I'm just going down the rabbit hole here.
Yeah. And how many boxes are there?
That's right. Yes.
And if so, how much does a pound of boxes weigh?
Yes.
Right.
And then how do I actually pass that expertise and knowledge onto other people? These big questions.
Well, you could deliver it in a box. No,
Boom. See, we closed that. See how we did that? We didn't even plan that. That's how good we are. We should actually drop the mic and say, thank you very much, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, because I don't know how we can top that bit of knowledge.
You got to go, or are you in a rush?
No. I'm just thinking, I don't know whether we can build on that. That was quite a big knowledge drop. Wouldn't you agree?
Boom. So obviously the knowledge types, what we're describing here are prototypes. And as we said throughout the week, nobody is just one of these prototypes. We're all a mixture of all four, and the sequence of which makes up our personality code. Brett's holding up the four primary colors, and the color green is the color for the knowledge types. The knowledge types, let's bring up some of the values that they hold dear. As we discuss, this personality profiling instrument is based on people's values and how these values inform their decision making. So here are the core values that, as we said, or as I said earlier, of those who engineered the box. They appreciate intelligence and logic. They have a knack for technology. R&D matters to them. Is it scientifically solid and sound? Was there research behind it? Is it a universal truth, or is it only anecdotal for you? Well, if we can't prove it for everyone, then why bother at all? Do you have expertise? Are you competent in your field? Is your spelling correct? Are you accurate? Do you see the big picture? Are your numbers up to par? Does it all add up? All of these are values that matter to knowledge types. And some of you who watched the Monday episode might think, oh, well, isn't there some overlap with the blueprint? Well, accuracy and making the numbers add up. Yes, there might be some overlap. And here's how this is an overlap. You see that the blueprints and the knowledge types, they're more the logical side of the brain, and the nurturers and action types, they're more the emotional side of the brain, right? So again, we have both, and one doesn't necessarily cancel out the other, or doesn't make one worse or better than the other. Knowledge people tend just to be let's put it this way. Knowledge people don't like to be wrong. They hate it when somebody else is smarter than them. Well, no, they don't hate it. They respect if somebody is as smart as they are, but if somebody else one-ups them or shows them, hey, you were wrong there, and they can prove it, that is a ding to a knowledge person. That's where their confidence is shaken up a little bit, and they think, oh, dang it, I made a mistake. So that an action type says, oh, well, better luck next time. The nurturer said, thanks for caring for me and make sure that everything is correct. And the blueprint will probably say, well, I'm glad somebody's looking out for the rules. Good on you, right? The knowledge type will say, shoot, I should have known that.
Yeah, so would you say that it also depends on that the knowledge is accurate? You know, there are different levels of knowledge based in whatever perception of fact the person holds of themselves. So that response, and of course, when we talk about working and working with people that may be opposite or disparate from your particular dominant style. So being confronted with somebody who is really rooted in what they term as knowledge, your understanding of that knowledge may come from a different perspective. So as you say, that they may be a little bit kind of rubbed the wrong way if you come at them with something that is challenging that knowledge. But then you would think that there is that other knowledge part of it that says, oh, okay, so this is something, if it's something that doesn't agree with what I know already, then maybe I do need to study it. Maybe I do need to pick up another book of another perspective.
Right.
So,
it will inspire the perpetual learning, right? Because the knowledge personality type, they will not like to be wrong, but if they are, and if somebody is proving that they have better data, that they know better, a fellow knowledge person will say, well, let me grab that book then, or let me go back to the source of that information. What did I miss? Right? It will sting a little, and yet it will prompt them to improve their knowledge. It's
testing those assumptions, right? Testing the
right.
assumptions, which may result in them affirming their assumptions and their knowledge. You might say,
Right.
okay, I've gone back to my source. I've looked at your source. You know, looking at those two perspectives, I actually I'm still kind of agreeing with what I know already. And yeah, so I think these are wonderful discussions. I mean, these are great discussions. I think if you take out the personal aspect of it and try and I know, look, it's very hard as humans. We use our amygdalas to respond when we come across something that's different, and that's our first response, is to fight it, run away from it, and not understand it. But I think given that everybody, as Kristen says, everybody has a little bit of that knowledge, even if they might be dominant in some of these others, that being able to identify that and draw on that, then to kind of give yourself, one of those values is self-improvement, right? Giving yourself permission to have the potential to improving your own knowledge and understanding of something can be really powerful in terms of the way you show up in the rest of the world.
Now, imagine you are a salesperson. Most salespeople are fairly high in their action, because that's what drives them to that profession. It gives them an ability to show up and show the best side of themselves, and have a good posture, and sometimes even kind of when it's negative or when it's dysfunctional, kind of bulldoze over people, or at least be quite aggressive in a friendly way, because after all, they want the sale, they want the decision in favor of the product, service, whatever. And they meet a knowledge person, and I'm not giving away too much if I'm telling you already that knowledge personality type, that's my dominant code. That's what I struggle with once in a while. Knowledge people tend to be the hardest people to sell to, because knowledge people will question whatever you tell them. And if you're going to draw this big, beautiful picture, imagine yourself in this vehicle, or hey, without this software, your computer won't. And if you don't buy this type of food item, then you will be, and whatever it may be. My brain, or high knowledge people, always go into overdrive thinking, wait a minute, show me the data on that. Is that really true? I mean, you're making some very confident yet outlandish claims, and before I can trust you, I want you to prove it to me. And that is, for a salesperson, that's a hard feat to do, because you don't have the time, or maybe not the patience, or I may have long walked away because I don't deal with you if you're not upfront about your product and all the small print. People like me, knowledge types, we do read the small print, or we read the manual, or I used to be, I mean, I'm recovering, I'm getting better at this. Whenever I bought some new technology, my wife would take it out of the box, open the thing, and just try to get it to work. I would open the box, leave the thing inside the box, go for the manual, and read it from front to back, and figure out, how does this work? How do I not make a mistake? And how do I milk every possible feature out of this before I even open up?
I think you're being very anti-men. You're going against our grain here. You know, aren't we famous for like, no, we can just do this. We don't need the directions. What are you, nuts? Don't give us a map. We can find our way. And of course, when we get lost, we have other rationales to explain it away. Well, that's very interesting. So I've got this bridge for sale in Australia. It's, trust me, it's a wonderful bridge. It's world famous. And, you know, it's stayed up for, well, it's almost nearly 100 years now. So, you know, it's great. You want to buy it?
No, what's it for?
Well, crossing the harbour. What do
you own it? Show me the lien on it.
Well, you know, I guess I have a share in it. That might be.
Okay. You mean your passport?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I think there's a picture in the passport.
Okay,
but this is a great point. This is a great point. I love that metaphor of how people, when you're selling to somebody, and we've always say that every aspect of life is selling, right? When you're selling something to somebody, so imagine doing that as we talk about, you know, showing interest in somebody to marry them, right? You're selling yourself to this person. Imagine having been confronted with somebody that's okay. So give me the facts. What have you got to offer? You know,
Right.
you know, this is, yeah.
Just yesterday, I got 2 LinkedIn connection requests from people that may have 1 or 2 in common, or not even that. So
Right.
I don't know how many of you get this, but I get a multitude of random LinkedIn requests from people who I've never met and who I don't really know who they are. And that's all fine and good. I don't mind meeting new people online. That's what LinkedIn is for. However, give me a reason, give me some context, right? Give me something to know about you before I commit to taking this any further. High knowledge, right? Here flares up again. And this guy, he just writes in there, well, glad to be connecting here. And if you're interested in better, healthcare rates, let's talk. Right. Usually I would just go delete because you just disrespected me. That's my value. So I don't know you. You come in, budge open the door, and put your foot in and tell me that you want to sell me something. I said, no, not yet. And I responded to him, hey, thanks for reaching out. Not sure if we met before, and I'm not in the market for what you're selling. And if I were, I probably wouldn't talk to the person who comes with an unsolicited offer on the first date. Buy me a drink, for heaven's sake. I'm not going to marry you just yet.
Absolutely. Yeah,
so
that's a big thing.
I had this coaching engagement last year with an individual from Central Europe who is a chemical engineer, and he's running a lab here at a chemical plant in North America. And we did the personality assessment right out of the gate, and sure enough, high K. I mean, through the roof. We have a questionnaire for this, not just the simple tools we gave you throughout the week. You'll learn more about this tomorrow. But I gave him the whole assessment, and his knowledge personality type is boom, bing, 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 all the way to the top, which I kind of expected given his profession. It was not a surprise. And all his behavior and demeanor pointed towards that. And we had to take that personality profile of his into account. The company thought he was being culturally insensitive. That's why they wanted me to work with that person. That was part of the equation. The other part of the equation was that he is a high knowledge type, and the rest of his team have different personality codes. And his whole communication was based on his value system, and that didn't match those are the people that he worked with. So that's how this tool can be extremely helpful in working with one another. And we like to use it. Personally, I use it with all of our clients. So this is another puzzle piece of understanding what drives people's behaviors. And I think you should try that too.
Absolutely. And you can. Free. You can find out your own.
Yeah, we should have told you, right? There's something we got for you.
Don't leave the people hanging there, Chris.
Here, go here.
There we go. Crack your code. Find out your own. Find out your own preference. Answer a short few questions. This is free. Go to the link and you will be able to enter in your information. And in return, you will get some insights into your own personal, what is your dominant? Again, we just getting back to the point that doesn't preclude any of these others if you find yourself in the knowledge, more predisposed to knowledge. But each of them has a fundamental part to play in everybody's personality and their makeup. Just the wonderful world of diversity has shown us this through history. But the first part of knowledge is understanding yourself, knowledge of oneself. And this is where we kind of lead people to the water. And then as you drink, you will be exposed to some wonderful concepts and understanding, and then observations of others when you're working with them, which is great. Yeah.
And you may have seen throughout the week Brett holding up these funny, colorful credit cards. I have them too. They're not really credit cards. They're what we call the value cards. I'm just going to hold it up to the camera real close for once. So this would be the card. It's really a credit card size plastic disc here, right? And on this it says the 12 core values of a knowledge type individual, and Brett's holding up the one for nurturing, and there's one for all of these 4 codes. So why do we have these credit card plastic thingies? Because we told you, and we're going to dive into this a little more tomorrow, but there's a full assessment around this. But if you don't have the time to run somebody through an assessment, you play what we call a card game with them. I've done this in multiple public settings. When I meet with someone for the first time, back in the time when we actually met people in real life, not on Zoom or Microsoft Teams, and you sit down with them and you ask them to read the values on these cards and then sort the cards in relation to how important they are to that person. Basically the same thing you're doing when you go to this link here. It will do the same thing with you. You'll see those 4 cards. It'll have the values for each personality prototype on it. And the system will ask you to sort them in order. What's most important to you? What's least important to you? And when you're done, you'll get a report to give you a quick debrief on what that means. And the deeper dive we'll talk about tomorrow, because there's a lot more system and more logic and more flexibility and integrity about this system than you might think now. Well, you may already recognize it, but there's a little bit more to that. So we don't want to, well, we keep you on your tippy toes. We're having a little bit of a cliffhanger for tomorrow. There's going to be a bigger takeaway for you, and you can actually have a set of cards like this. I had a gentleman from Canada the other day order a set, and he was worried it wouldn't get through customs in these Corona times. It did get through. So, Bill, you got them.
You got them. Well done, Bill. Good for you, Bill. You will have much more knowledge, by the way, once you start to use these.
Yes.
Fantastic. Yeah, so today is the last of those 4, and tomorrow is the big, not the big reveal. We've kind of revealed a lot of stuff, but we're going to do kind of, as Christian says, dig deeper into that. So join us back tomorrow, and there will be some free resources, as there are every week in this, the world's #1 show, daily show about culture, the business of culture and the culture of business. Absolutely.
Outrageous claim. Can you prove that, Mr. Perry? Is it really the world's #1? Do we have the data to back that up? My brain's going in overdrive thinking this might be fabricated.
I know. I actually think we could have the data. You might need to give me a while to make it up. Research it. Freudian slip.
As you know, 82% of all statistics are made up.
Yeah, that's right. We had a prime minister in Australia says there are there are facts, there are statistics, and there are damn lies, and they're all kind of the same. So there are.
Well, if an Australian prime minister talks about dams right now, the country will probably respond to, "We wish we had more of those and higher ones."
Yes. Yeah, higher dams. Yes, it's a little moist down under. It's a little wet. Which is obviously a cycle I've seen before, but the water is higher than I think a lot of people have seen it in their lifetime. It hasn't happened for decades. And so thoughts go out, as they always do. I mean, this has been a week of tragedy in different parts of the world, here in the US, certainly. So there are man-made tragedies and nature-produced tragedies, expressions of tragedy. What we would call tragedies, nature might call it it's just life, people. But the man-made ones are impactful. And I just want to say publicly here, I lost a very, very close friend and mentor today, just in the last couple of hours. A good sister, leader, mentor, Sherry Tapp. I want to name her name and lift her up. She was a wonderful servant of people. There's no other higher calling for someone like that. And she was a beautiful soul. And we're very sorry for having to announce that, but I'm just going to put that in there for those who don't know her. But we all know these types of people, and when we lose them, it hits hard. It hits hard. So, yeah.
Sorry for your loss, and Sherry's family. Be strong. And
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. And so that is another episode.
Maybe one more thought is, no matter what took her from you now, rest assured that she is in a comfortable place now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Well, great. Thank you, everybody. Very grateful for your attention, your listening, as we always are over these past 174 episodes. Tomorrow, 175, heading close to 200. We should actually do some celebration 200. That's not that far away. It's only technically, 5 weeks. So it's not that far away. If we could get together and have a party, we'd do that, but we can't. And but we will try and find some way to celebrate it, and hopefully get some past guests. I don't know. We're just making this up at the moment. So,
yeah,
but
we'll talk about this off air. For
today, it is another episode in the can. Thank you so much, and we will see you tomorrow. Not same time, but same channel on the world's #1 global show on the business of culture and the cultural business. Bye for now.